I will always encourage you to do what feels correct for you. I don't care what the world says. I don't care what the world thinks of it. I think that people should just do what feels aligned for them. I grew up most of my childhood in foster care. And one of the things I believe is that, my mother allowed society and the world and her family to convince her that she needed to get me and my brother out of foster care. And she worked hard to get it done, but the minute she got us back, within a year, she was back out in the streets, right? And so for me, people don't realize what that does to children, right? And sometimes the best thing you can do is leave children where they are. Sometimes the best thing you can do is leave a child's life. Sometimes the best thing you can do is go about your business. Just because someone birthed children does not mean they need to keep them. They need to have them. I knew at a very young age I was not meant to be my mother's child. I'm happy she brought me into the world. I adore her. I think as a human she's amazing. And at the same time, well, she's since passed. But at the same time, I also saw her pain. I also saw her hurt. I also saw the pressure she felt. And I do believe that she allowed the pressure of those outside of her to tell her what she needed to do. And if she didn't do these things, then somehow she was a bad person, a bad mother. So I am not someone who believes that just because you have a child, you should keep it. I'm not someone who believes just because you decided to keep a child that you should stay in that child's life. I think that we don't recognize the pain we can cause by keeping children around people who don't really want to be around them, who resents them, who don't like them, because maybe they remind them of some version of themselves. Or maybe they're not listening the way that the parent think they should. I've seen so much harm in mother-daughter relationships. I've seen so much harm, so much bullying, so much hurt, so much pain. When a parent has not dealt with their own inner child wounds, they project it on their children sometimes. And they don't even see the harm that they're causing. They think because they're providing them with all their necessities, physical necessities, because they don't have the emotional capacity to actually provide them with emotional safety and security and things like that. But they can buy them things. And they can put a roof over their head. They think that that's enough. And, something I've learned as a dog mom is that it wasn't enough to just feed my puppy. He would stop eating if I didn't actually spend time with him, if I actually wasn't cuddling with him and playing with him. He would just stop eating. So it's not enough to just provide people with, I guess, shelter, clothes on their back, and food. People also need connection. They need to be seen, heard, loved on. To be seen is to be loved. I heard that and I loved it. So, I might be going on a tangent right now, random thoughts, but I had a conversation with someone yesterday and we were talking about them as parents, and I was laughing because I'm like, there's nothing wrong with you not wanting to be a parent anymore. I think that more people should say it out loud. And it doesn't have to be a judgment. Just because you acknowledge how you feel doesn't mean that you have to act on it. And just because you acknowledge it doesn't mean you have to act on it. And even if you act on it, acting on it doesn't mean that you're walking away. It can mean many things. Sometimes just not suppressing what you feel is helpful. Acknowledging how you feel is helpful. But I feel like a lot of times when people say things out loud, it is frowned upon. You get judged about it. People tell you who you are because of it. You're a horrible person. It's you're not horrible for having a human experience. And there's nothing wrong with feeling with what you feel. Oh well. I just wish that people had spaces where they could just be completely honest about what they're going through in this human experience without us judging them. And I'm a person who, I think that you should just say everything out loud. Because I know the thoughts I have. And they're not always thoughts I'm going to act on, but I think them. And there's nothing wrong with it. And there's nothing wrong with, being honest about how you feel. So, I say all that to say, live your truth. Live your life. Do not allow the beliefs and the expectations of society to tell you what your humanness needs to look like. It doesn't need to tell you what it means to be a parent, what it means to be a mother, what it means to be a daughter, what it means to be an aunt, what it means to be a sister. None of those things. You get to define everything for yourself. If you take on those roles, you get to define them for yourself. When I stopped putting pressure on myself about the roles that the world has put on me, my whole world changed. Now no one can manipulate me because of labels, because I don't hold them to the same extent that most people do. So I wish you all well, and I pray that you're having a well-lived life and that you're defining for yourself what it means to be human, what it looks like to be in whatever role you decide to occupy, whatever role you decide to hold up. Just because this world says that you are this thing doesn't mean that you have to hold on to it. Doesn't mean that you have to occupy that space. You can say no. I've said no to many roles that you will probably be like, you're born into it. You don't get to decide. No, I get to decide. I don't have to live by any roles that anyone outside of me gives me. I get to decide if that aligns with my soul. Does my soul get excited about that? I only go where love is living, where love is active. If it's anything about fear and obligations and needs, I'm out of there. I'm out of there. So I pray that you have a well-lived life and that you allow yourself to question all of these experiences that we have in this lifetime and decide for yourself what it means to be human, how it expresses for you, who you want to be in this lifetime, and you know that you can change it whenever you feel like it. Beliefs aren't absolutes. They aren't forever. They change throughout time, and you get to decide what beliefs you want to hold on to and which ones you want to let go at any moment of your life. Every moment is an opportunity to create a new reality. You get to decide, and I will always be here to remind you of that. I love y'all.